What is going on, folks? I am Goat, and welcome back to Warframe. So we are into the melees. I think the melees, I mean, like everything in this game, everything is very subjective, but I think melees are probably the most subjective because there's so many normal ways to build them. And then you get goofballs like me that don't necessarily build the right way, and I use melees in different ways. Like, some of them I use to just basically delete enemies. Others I use to prime enemies, but throughout the snippets of this particular video, I'm going to take on acolytes with every single one of them just to show that some are really, really good against acolytes, and others you're going to obviously see are more like my primer weapons. And I'll kind of announce that as I do the introduction to each weapon, and then we'll kind of just go from there, okay? So we'll get into the first weapon right now. So what I would consider to be the creme de la creme, the ass-whooping mechanic of death, the throwing blender blade, the Glade Prime. This thing is just as OP as it fucking gets in this game. Now, are there other weapons that can do immense amounts of damage? Yes, but this thing deletes areas of enemies, okay? And its reason is very simple. You throw it, you blow it up, stuff dies. That's what it does. The build is simple. And no, you don't have to build it this way. It's just what I chose to do. You can quite specifically, form a killing blow rather than using an Umber Forma. Done deal. But this is where I am. Singular Forma, have a nice day. And it's all built towards its critical side, okay? Plus, it's, like Vicious Frost is really in there just more as a space saver. Like, if I wanted to use, excuse me, North Wind, one more Forma, be able to get that job done just fine. Because you're talking 60% damage, so if we did 9 points, it'd be 60 cold, so it really wouldn't matter. So might as well add a little status to it while we're doing it. Volatile Quick Return basically takes away the bounce of the weapon, but increases the blast radius and gives it a 100% chance to explode whenever it tries to bounce. Disables the punch through of the bounce, but that's fine, because that's really not the point. So what your entire goal with most glaive weapons is Corrupt Charge. Initial combination to give yourself a ×2 for your damage, okay? Heavy attack wind-up, critical damage. Heavy attack damage, heavy attack wind-up. You're going for heavy attack speed, heavy attack speed. That's really what you're shooting for. And then, obviously, Volatile Quick Return to take away that whole bouncy horse shit and give it a 100% chance to just blow the fuck up anyway if it strikes something. And then just play to the attributes of the weapon. Now, different glaives fight different ways, okay? We're going to show two of them that I am very preferential to, but the Glade Prime really is the creme de la creme of the glaive weapons. So on that note, I'm going to go show this thing right now. The next victim. Yes, I know, another glaive. I'm going to start with the same two types of weapons, and I'm going to end with the same two types of weapons, okay? Just to keep it funny. The Serato. Now, this is a Mastery 8 Dojo, primarily status-based glaive. This thing is, in my personal opinion, this thing is one of the most overlooked fucking melee weapons in the game that's functional. Okay, and the reason being, for one, it's a glaive, so it does, like, you build it very, very similarly to the Glade Prime. For two, it's toxin base. Now, normally, a lot of people would be like, oh, God, toxin base, but with it having its highest physical attribute being slash, that toxin base plays into something really funny, okay? Now, granted, the way I have this thing built, the toxin base is doing the toxin just is stacking into the viral as far as its primary damage. On its alternate explosion, like the Glade Prime, when you blow that bitch up, it's got a guaranteed 4 slash procs. The Serato, if I remember the statistics correctly, have a guaranteed 2 stacks of toxin to hit whenever you blow the damn thing up. Which, if you're already hitting with slash anyway, you're just opening up for that toxin to go directly to health. It's really silly. Now, does this thing scale insanely well into higher levels of stuff without a frame boosting as something like Octavia or something like that? No, but it's good for casual gameplay. Okay, like, I'm not saying you need to try to go level cap with this motherfucker, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to stand a test of that. But, you know, upwards of a couple hundred, 300, upwards of 300-400 level, yeah, it's going to fuck some shit up. So as you can see, it's built slightly different. Okay, slightly different from the Glade Prime, specifically away from both Umbral, both sacrificial mods in here to a base prime pressure point. This is only one forma, by the way, which this is the forma. Still, everything else is the same, except we're going with 60/60s here because it is more status based. The only reason this thing even has any crit on it whatsoever is because of sacrificial steel. But that's fine. Why not, right? Why not add a little bit of crit, and a little bit of status? This thing, for a casual player, do not overlook the fact that this Dojo Serato that's in the Biolab is actually very, very, very decent. So we'll go look at this thing right now, all right?
Another life support capsule is now available.
Our next victim here is the Cronin Prime. Now, a lot of people, when they think of tonfas, they think of stat sticks or useless. Okay, that's really the only way it goes. I'm here to tell you, and I know that I say a lot of people. There's a few people that think that tonfas are useless. The Telos Boltes is good. The Praetos is actually pretty good for stat sticking. The Telos Boltes just isn't too terrible in general. But the Cronin Prime is like the top of the list in regards to tonfas. Statistically, this thing has two things going for it when it comes to tonfas. It's got a very, very high slash to it, and it makes for probably the best, next to the Praetos, which is one of the two incarnate melees. Next to the Praetos, this thing makes for the best stat stick ever. Now, you can go and run through with a stat stick build, running your gladiator mods and a little bit of blood rush, and my particular bit of fun is just adding some speed and heavy attack efficiency. But this is actually my more preferential build. Okay, I don't know why Carnus Mandible is actually as low as it is. That's silly. Whatever. I actually pre-recorded the videos to this, so yeah, the build that you're going to see is actually going to have... it's actually going to be the build that you just saw before I started changing things. So, it's actually going to be a tad stronger. I don't know why I did that. I truly don't. It's 4 forma, okay? 4 forma, one of them being a stance forma. Because Sovereign Outcast, honestly, in my opinion, is just the best tonfa stance. Again, that's very much personal preference. Because if I remember right, Gemini Cross is actually the one that goes for the Cronin Prime, and I can tell you right now, Sovereign Outcast is actually just better. But this is just a heat slash setup, stacking crit, got some status built into it. most effectively high slash, okay? And this is such an interesting weapon. Now, I will say, if you want to try something just absolutely fucking silly, do this build. You will feel like an absolute crackhead with this, for one. And for two, it still kills. It's quite interesting. I mean, with a 1.87 speed, this thing just swings for the fucking fences. It is ridiculously fun to play. But for the purposes of this video and just standard fighting, this is what we're going to use. Obviously, I was 1 point off here and 1 point off there, so the build is actually going to be a little bit weaker. It's going to be at that 1032 with the 66.3 status, and obviously the previous numbers. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I had it set like that, other than I'm a dum-dum baby. So let's go look at the Cronin Prime, which, by the way, if you're curious, the Maruta Tonfa skin is what's on here, because the base Cronin Prime skin is just kind of meh for me, you know? I like this. So, yeah, let's go look at the Cronin Prime in action, okay? Alright, so we're back for the next victim. The next victim is going to be the Tinted Gregory. One of two Scythes in my list. Now, obviously a more recent release than the other one, which if you haven't guessed what the other Scythe is, by me saying two, I don't know what to tell you. The Tinted Gregory is the polar opposite of the other weapon that I'm going to be listing. Tinted Gregory is primarily a status-based, it's a status-based Scythe. So, yes, I have a Riven for it. See, and I'm going to say this right now, because I'm sure somebody's probably thinking, well, not everybody's got Rivens. Well, fine, build around it. You know, you'll be able to see exactly what the hell this Riven does, because I try to point them out, okay? Attack speed, heat, and initial combo. This is nothing insane, okay? There's so much better that I could get out of a Riven. You see, I literally rolled this once, didn't give a shit. Rolled it once, said, fuck it, good enough. That's how much give a damn I gave for this Riven, okay? Seriously. So, but this is a primarily status-based, kind of a ridiculous Scythe. Now, the thing behind this is that with it being status-based, I actually use it more as a primer. You know, to stack damages onto it. But if I want to use it as a main weapon, you know, to fight bigger enemies, I can. Weeping Wounds stacks status chance per combo multiplier. Being status based, pretty good. Condition overload plus 80% melee damage per status. You guys know condition overload, okay? Look how many different fucking statuses I have. I have 5 that I can stack on one singular enemy, so condition overload can play very well into this. Quickening is basically just attack speed plus a combo count chance. That's never a bad thing. Drifting contact, now could I use melee prowess for this? Sure. But given the fact I'm running 3 60/60s on this son of a bitch anyway, granted Carnus Mandible will only play into the status chance of the slash, and that's fine, because that's really what I want it to do, is push the slash more than anything else. But a combo count, a combo duration, which means I can kind of run the fuck away and reset if I need to, because this thing isn't just going to be a deleting weapon. Nice. Okay, and then obviously 90% slash, not mad at that, 60% status to that slash, and then we have viral, and then we have a little extra heat in here, just cuz, plus more initial combo, just like, excuse me, giving me combo count chance plus initial combo. Okay, it's just a 2x2 setup for me. Now, is this thing the absolute murderer of all enemies built like this? No. But like I said, I typically tend to use it more for a primer and then go into more different types of weapons. You know, primaries and secondaries and things like that. Kind of prime them up with a little bit of damage, do a big heavy swing, even though no stacks built up, just to get a little bit of damage in there, and then just fucking go nuts. But there is other ways to build it. This is just my particular way. So we're going to watch this thing in action. Again, it's not going to be awe-inspiring per se, but it does the job, okay?
Second warning. Life support activated. Our operative is making progress. This will help our cause. Extraction is available if you need it. Critical life support levels. Extraction is your best option.
And our next whoopity-doo victim here is the Nakana Prime. I kind of find this thing to be an underrated weapon, okay? Like, I don't see a whole lot of people using the Nakana Prime. Don't see a whole lot of people, like, standing up and screaming, you know, top of the world, oh, this thing is badass, because it's not the most badass weapon, but it is actually very fucking powerful, and it's got such a funky attribute to it, okay? For one, it's extremely, like, well, it's the best slash Nakana in the game. Okay, first and foremost. Now, with that being said, I didn't build anything into slash. So the base slash on this weapon is 423. Could I build into that slash? Yes. Absolutely, without question, yes, I could. You can kind of see, I have kind of a set weird way of doing things with weapons. But the funny thing about this weapon is that you can kind of even keel build this thing, meaning that it's a crit-based weapon, but you can throw status into it as well because it's statistically high on both sides. So we're, you know, with the sacrificial set in here, we're at 105 critical chance with a 6 multiplier thanks to Gladiator Might and Organ Shatter. Okay, but then we've also got Drifting Contact for combo duration, so again, being able to reset and not lose my stacks. Gladiator Vice for attack speed rather than quickening, because with it being a crit-based weapon, having 2 gladiators on there, I'm definitely not going to complain about whatsoever. And then a viral set of 60/60s to really kind of round out having good status and good crit. And the best part is that my top 2 damages are viral and slash, so guess what this thing's going to be dealing a buttload of? You guessed it. So, let's go see this Nakana Prime at work, okay?
30 seconds left. Life support has been replenished. Another life support capsule is now available.
Oh my god, I know. Sacrilege, a sword. A single sword. Oh. Single sword. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, this is literally the best weapon given to you as far as a sword goes in the game. Yes, I know sword stances and dual sword stances and heavy blade stances and hammer stances and all these fucking stances got nerfed in like 2019 or 2020 or back in 19 fucking dickety 2 in the you know level of game years. Okay, I don't give a shit. I really don't care, because when you can make a weapon do what this thing does, yes, I have a ribbon for it, but when you can make a weapon do what this fucking thing does, even without a ribbon, I won't hear you bitching about how you know, stances got nerfed. Okay, now my preference is Vengeful Revenant because it works. Dropped from Drifter, from the Stalker, and dropped from Sentience. Or no, Decisive Judgment is the one that's... Yeah, Decisive Judgment's the one. This is the one... This is the one that comes from the Stalker, so Hate, Dread, Despair. I'm just telling you right now, this is the stance you want, first and foremost. Works really well. The action, the animation behind it's very good. And this thing is just a deleting weapon. Now, the ribbon for this is obviously base damage, critical chance, ×2 for heavy attacks, which is hence why it wants to delete things, and then a plus 40.3 to Grenier. So yes, it's factionally strong against Grenier, but it's just, I mean, if you look at the statistics of this fucking thing, it's going to pretty much kill anything you're swinging this bitch at. So just having a plus to Grenier is just a bonus, because you're just going to fuck them up more because they're the tankiest pricks you're going to come across next to, you know, Overguarded Aximus or Acolytes. Okay? So this thing just does not give a shit. It's ready to kill stuff. And it's really, really probably the best single sword in this game. You don't believe me? Watch this.
Life support activated. Life support has been replenished. Additional life support has arrived. Off to a successful start. When you are ready, go to extraction.
Oh my god, Sacrilege again, baby. Sacrilege again. A set of dual swords. Statistically, the best set of dual swords in this game. I don't even think that there's a question to this, okay? The dual Karis, even as the base dual Karis, yes, the base dual Karis are extremely forma hungry. I mean, you're talking like, if I remember right, I don't even remember if I still have the base dual Karis. Let's look. No, I don't. If I remember right, the base dual Karis was like 6 forma. It was rough. Statistically, though, these things are a fucking monstrosity of a set of swords. Okay? So you play into the attributes of the weapon. Okay? We're not really worried about status, although it's space saving because I only felt like doing one goddamn forma to the dual Karis Prime. But statistically, I don't give a shit how nerfed the stance is when you can do what you can do with these. it's not about the big PP damage, right? It's not about, you know, I'm doing hundreds of thousands of points of damage. It's the amount of damage that you're doing at a critical level, okay? It's the amount of damage that you are applying to the soul of the enemy that you're attacking with. So when you're just blasting red crits at everything just because you fucking can, believe me, their soul is feeling it. This particular build, like I said, it's one Forma, okay? Yes, I stuck an Umbra on there. Get over it. Okay, I could have put anything on this bitch I wanted to, but I wanted to put an Umbra on it, okay? Because I can. Could I put it here and probably gotten away with the same fucking job? No. I would have gotten 5 points for that, okay? I needed 8. So I could have done 2 Forma, right? Could have. But I only felt like using 1. I had like 6 fucking Umbra Forma at the time, so... It is what it is, okay? Don't do that. Just do 2 regular Forma. They're way easier to get your hands on. But, again, don't always listen to the status quo of, oh, this is so nerfed, it's just bad. Because, again, if you just want to delete an enemy, just get some stacks and just delete a fucking enemy, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Life support incoming. Additional life support has arrived. Operative is making progress. This will help our cause. Extraction is available if you need it.
Well, if this wasn't the obvious other Scythe in the setup here that anybody may have guessed or not guessed at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Either inexperience or you just didn't realize this weapon existed. The Reaper Prime. The description of this always kills me. Reaper Prime is an ornamental scythe. Bruh, this thing has a blade at the bottom and it has got 2 blades at the top with a pretty non-ornamental handle, a handle of just sheer utility. I don't find this to be ornamental whatsoever, but good God. It kills stuff. Now, there's a bit of specificity to this build, okay? Could I have done other things other than put 3 Forma in this motherfucker? Yes. I could have stuck 1 more Forma in it and honestly gone with Buzzkill over Jagged Edge, okay? So I could have formed this, gotten 8, okay, and stuck the additional 4 that I needed here to get Buzzkill and still had the other 3 to do Vicious Frost. But I already got 3 in it. Didn't really feel like doing 1 more Forma. Probably will eventually. But I can tell you it's really, like, watching this thing, it's just kind of unnecessary. I mean, this thing is just rude. Okay? I mean, its highest physical attribute is Slash. Even if I take Jagged Edge off, it's still Slash. Okay? You're doing just a simple Blood Rush, Gladiator Might, Sacrificial Steel, Prime Pressure Point. Fuck you build. Okay? Because that's exactly what this is. This is just a pure fuck you build. Alright? So, it's nothing like groundbreaking, amazing as far as the numbers you're putting out, but it likes to just destroy things. Even if it's at a minimalistic level at times, it just likes to kill shit. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go kill stuff right now.
To a successful start. When you are ready, go to extraction. Support incoming. Additional life support has arrived.
So here we are at literally the best polearm in the game. Now, this build is highly unconventional. And I'm just going to be honest, I used Guando for a very, very long time. And I just kind of got away from polearms. Is that to say that these are not good? No, not in any way. They're just kind of a mundane thing for me. Okay, now this is just a true, pure heat slash build. There is nothing fancy to this whatsoever. It's not even that high of a damage output. Now, this is not the build that I used to do. Okay, I actually went with something a bit different with this. And this is a no forma build. So obviously there's a lot of wiggle room here. This is like a good starting point, but truthfully, like, because it's a crit weapon, you can take a Forma and then move this Vazarin over and, you know, put cold in here and just do a base damage setup of like a heat viral build in here. And this is one of those weapons that just like Gladiator Might, Organ Shatter, Blood Rush. Those are like 3 guarantees you are going to want on this motherfucker. And to get more base damage, truth be told, like you don't even need Quickening, you don't need Drifting Contact because status is kind of meh on this thing. It's whatever. I mean, like, obviously you're going to see it fucking works, but there is better ways to do this. Okay. Really is. Kind of, I look at the Guando Prime as being a kind of a blank canvas of death. Right? It's a very good polearm. It's a very good polearm. But I leave it to you on how you prefer to build it. I honestly, like, I still use it from time to time, but it's just not what I lean to anymore. But because I used it for such a long time, and my previous build of basically just having, you know, like viral and attack speed. Okay, literally, that's all he did. And this bitch carried me all the way to fucking Sedna on the Steel Path before it started to struggle. That in itself screams, hey, this works pretty fucking good. So I'm going to show you what this particular little, you know, heat slash build does. But again, take into account that this particular build is just a blank canvas. It's just kind of a generalized idea. It's definitely not the most OP way to go about it, all right?
of time. Life support activated. Another life support capsule is now available. Off to a successful start. When you are ready, go to extraction.
And here we are rounding out the final of the top 10 weapons for me. Now, I know you guys see me basically using almost nothing but glaives. Okay, and there's a reason for that, because they're very, very, very powerful. But when I have to lean away from using a glaive, these are the weapons that I lean away to. Okay, these are the weapons that I go to for specific purposes. Now, the Lesion, although nerfed, the Legion's actually pretty fucking good. And what's beautiful is that this is another dojo weapon, lower mastery rank, 0 forma. Okay? The thing with the Lesion is that you basically prime, and this is more of a primer melee than it is a killer, okay? And you're going to see that particular bit of struggle with this weapon, especially when I go against the Acolyte. You're going to see that level of struggle with the weapon of it going, bro, this is not what I'm built for, because it's not. Okay, this is basically meant to just kind of proc a bunch of damage on people and then get the fuck back and murder their asses. That's what I use it for. Now, does that mean that this is the most OP thing in the fucking game? Absolutely not. But it's a very, very high status, get the fuck out of here kind of weapon. Okay? It just really is. Really is. Is it, again, the most OP thing in the game? Not even close. But if you're using it to try to just prime general areas with damage, basically jump in, swing really quick, fuck shit up, jump out, blow shit up. Have a nice day. Granted, guns kind of do that on their own. So it's really more of a preferential thing for me. But I find for this being a base dojo weapon, oh my dear God, especially if you're still on the base star chart, my God, this thing is a weapon to go after. If you don't have any primes or any great melees that you've got anything to go after, 0 forma. 0 forma. Not a hard mod to get, not a terrible mod to get, not a terrible mod to get. You can go with the lesser version of Jagged Edge, still works just fine.
Navigation has been updated with new invasions. Chaos is spreading.
I wasn't talking, Lotus. Drifting Contact is Nightmare mod, if I remember correctly. Quickening comes from, like, Mulva, I think, on Venus. It's a, infested survival, low level. And then a couple of 60/60s. No big deal. None of this is hard to get. Okay? Nothing about this build is hard to get. And it's no forma. So, throughout the entire base star chart, this works great. And through low-end Steel Path, this thing works just fine. Will this thing scale at all on the Steel Path? No. But that's not what I use it for. But it does fit into my top 10 because I use it for very specific things, okay? So, we'll go see the struggle bus of the Lesion. It does do its job, okay? Like, it does kill. But there's, like, no big PP numbers with this thing or nothing, alright?
Ready for a capsule. Additional life support has arrived. The operative has just made their first discovery. Keep up the good work. When you need it, extraction is ready. You are running out of time. Consider extraction. Life support has been replenished. Tenno, prepare for life support.
All right, so here we are at the end of that conglomerated mess of shit called my top 10 of melees. Some will probably be quite the surprise. Others will be like derp derp, no shit, because this is what we see him use. But either way, you know, if you see some decent builds in there, if you see some wonky builds in there, you're going, what the fuck, and you feel like trying them, hey man, be my guest. There's obviously some weapons in there that struggle against acolytes, but that's not really what I got them built for, and you can tell that, right? And there's other weapons that just go, get the fuck out of here. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this, found it informative, or at least silly to watch me, you know, sit there and chomp away at motherfuckers or just annihilate them immediately. Either way, I want to thank you folks very much for watching. As always, we'll catch you in the next one, all right?